Hello, hello. Welcome to the Teaching by Faith podcast. I am Jantina Masters, your host, and I am so happy that you have joined me. Whether you're in your car, you're at home, on your couch, maybe you're lying down and you have earphones in your ears, or you're listening to it out loud from your phone or your tablet. However you are streaming this episode, I welcome you to a faith-filled podcast that is intended and created for you to build up your faith, for you to be encouraged. I thank you for taking the time to follow, to subscribe on whatever way that you are listening today, whether it be through YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or even on Audible. I thank you. I have such gratitude. The title of this episode is The Fork in the Road. Just 4 months after the twins were born, I battled depression in ways no one truly knew except for my husband. Just 2 months into my last teaching job, the morning I arrived at the daycare with only 3 of my 4 children wearing shoes. I stood frozen in place between whether I should cry nonstop on the side of the road or scream in my car with no idea if I would stop if I started. 2 months were just the transition that needed to happen for me to walk across the bridge from survival to purpose, from a really difficult moment to the choice to surrender. And I'm sharing with you today that was the day I made that decision to surrender to what I'm doing at this very moment. Nothing was more frightening, more scary to me than no longer being able to serve and fully love the people that mean the most to me. My husband needed a whole, healed me, and my children needed a mom who was fully present, able to listen and full of strength. What they were getting at that moment was a shell of me. Every day, every single day, I was carrying the burden of knowing that there was more that I could do. There was more that I could give, but I just couldn't give it because I felt stuck in the cycle of survival. Is that you today? Are you in survival mode? Have you learned to make survival your normal? That's what I was doing. I was doing what I thought I had to do for so long that I forgot to go back to God and say, what's next? What's the next step from here? It finally began to cost me more than I was physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually able to give. I knew there was a better way. I knew that I could be the helpmeet to my husband that was able to build our home and our family with a steady pace and with a sound mind, without compromising the vision that God had given to me, and ultimately living in the purpose that He had for my life. What you're seeing today was a series of deep moments like this with God where my only language was through my tears. The number of journals I filled to surrender past hurts, write out prayers to help me forgive others and move forward, including forgiving myself, gained its own shelf. I actually lost the count of all the meetings that me and my husband had at our kitchen table with nothing but a phone and a calendar, trying to write and rewrite the vision, construct the right schedules, cement the absolutes, the not right now in this season. We will, we won't, we can't. Every single day is a new opportunity for me to now grow to become who I know God called me to be, a daughter first to Him, but also a wife, a mother, a friend, a sister, a minister, someone that becomes a point of contact in my neighborhood for someone else who's going through a tough moment. I've got to be present so that the light in me can shine and bring them to a higher place. I can't do that when I'm at an all-time low. I can't do that when I can't see the way clearly myself. So as I revisit that seemingly dark day, I tell this story out loud to myself whenever I feel doubt, unbelief, or discouragement beginning to creep in, because friends, it does. It absolutely does, and it will. You will never have a point in your life until you leave this earth that trial, that test is standing in front of you, and you must face it. You must face it again with that faith muscle moving and working. You cannot face it with doubt. You cannot face it with unbelief. You cannot face it with fear. I had to come out of fear, and coming out of fear was what caused Teaching by Faith to be born. I'm literally living out what Teaching by Faith stands for. I am walking in the promise that God gave me on that day, on that faithful day. When I made a phone call to my husband, I said, it's now or never, but I need your blessing. And if you say not now, I will honor what you say. But I believe God is calling me to purpose. And until I get in purpose, this is going to be a moment that's going to lead to a breaking point for me. I wasn't bowing out because I was lazy or, quitting because it was too hard. I was shifting into purpose and out of survival. I was moving into the place that God had positioned and called me to be in that season and that time. And even now, I'm still walking out hard moments, hard truths, moments of trusting Him when I have no other resource except for Him and what He provides. That day, time stood still for me. I realized that the choice I made was never going to give me time back, not even a moment. But it would, however, allow me to embrace the time God has given me to do what I believe He created me to do. God is with me in this, and He's in whatever you're doing with you. He wants you to get out of the boat, friend. He wants you to lead your decisions by your own intellect, by your own wisdom, no more. He wants you to allow Him to lead you out of the boat. That requires a step of faith on the water. That requires trusting Him for the movement forward. He doesn't desire for us to survive. He gives us strength as we invite Him to help us build what is eternal and not temporal. He's not crushing our dreams, friends. He's destroying what's flawed in our character and subtracting from us what's not needed for the greater work He's called us to do. Mama, this post is for you today. What's in your hands today will become a mighty work and masterpiece tomorrow if you are faithful to it and you always include the master builder in your plan. That day when I was torn between a cry and a scream was the day I chose to come off the path of the familiar that I'd known for many years. And I made the cemented choice to take the brand new road that made no logical sense in this economy, in this recession. But I can tell you this truth. I've never felt more joy, more strength, more peace. Is it scary? Yes. But what looked like the unknown has brought me closer to the God that made me and that wrote my journey before I was formed in my mother's womb. And it has set me on an unmistakable path of faith with lessons moment by moment, day by day, that require me to trust a God that could only be the source and the provision that I need as I move forward. It can only come from Him. His voice is the voice that leads me. His is the one that I trust over my own with every single step I take. I need you to know that that's the only way that you'll get out of the boat and you'll remain on the water. That's the only way that you'll move from survival to surrender. Maybe you're at that moment now where I was that day, sitting in your car, trying to decide if you should cry, scream, or surrender. If you're standing at your own fork in the road today, don't be afraid to choose the path that requires faith. God is already waiting for you there. I pray this blessed you. I pray it helped you. I pray it healed you. Hey, comment at the end of this if this opened your eyes to that moment, to that place where God is calling you to yield. And I pray that you're subscribed and that you have gone back and listened to the other episodes that I also pray are a blessing to you today. Thank you again for tuning in to Teaching by Faith. Until next time, walk it out, speak it out, move by faith. Blessings.